Jared Duckett here, back with Caleb Gussner, and we're going to really talk about the power of 1%. Caleb, I talk a lot about different things, and I probably talk about the power of 1% every day, I would say, as we're talking to dental practice owners at the firm. Unpack that a little bit. What in the world does power of 1% mean?
Yeah, you've probably seen this topic out on TikTok, LinkedIn. It's a very popular concept to talk about. The power of 1% better every day, right? Just 1% over time is where you see that exponential growth. I think from our seat, really sitting in the finance seat, the power of 1% from a numerical standpoint has a ton of value in your practice, has a ton of value in your business. Increasing 1% in certain areas of the practice changes things drastically, right? We're going to get into that here in a little bit. I think when we're talking about areas to focus on 1%, very, very simple example, right? Collection percent. To me, I say this all the time. We talk about this all the time, Jared. It's a moral outrage in dentistry to produce $1.5 million and collect 92% of it.
Yeah.
Right? Hurts your valuation, hurts your overhead, hurts your overhead percentage, hurts your cash flow, hurts what you have at the end of the year in free cash available to you as an owner, right? Mm-hmm. The power of 1% and what it can do, what it can unlock in your practice is remarkable.
Yeah, and I said this was last week. I said this to a client is we were talking about the power of 1%, and I kid you not, we talk about it every single day. And I'll just use that example, that $1 million practice. That 1%, let's say their overhead was running 65%. Well, they're trying to make an exit here in the next 3 years, right? And I always use the analogy, if you're going to make an exit in the next 3 years, it's like selling your car. Start cleaning it now. I guarantee there's French fries in the cup holder. I know there's Chick-fil-A fries in mine right now that you need to get out before you sell that practice in your truck or whatever. But if you can get to that 65% overhead down, man, I'm doing math on the fly, 5 points, right? 5 points on the 1% is $50,000.
On a $1 million practice. Yeah.
On a $1 million practice. And you just went into how that affects cash flow, if you will, on an annual basis, which is cash in your pocket, which everybody loves. But this doctor's planning on an exit. So what else does that power of 1% do? $50,000 annually, but your valuation on your practice is based on your financial statements, right? So $50,000 annually that you save increases your NOI, increases your, here I'm going to say the buzzword EBITDA. EBITDA goes up $50K at a, I don't know, Caleb, 5X, 6X, give or take, whatever we want to do. That's $250,000, $300,000 on the end. You see how it all just makes sense? So whenever I hear a doctor say, well, Jared, you looked at my financial statements, or your team just looked at my financial statements, and I'm only 5 or 6 points high, I'm like, yeah, there's good work we can do here. Like, let's chisel that down because the points matter on cash flow, but also, the valuation is key.
Absolutely.
So if you guys are out there listening to this and you don't know, I didn't know, right, until I started thinking about this, what 1% is in your practice, do the math right now, $1 million, $2 million, $3 million, wherever you're at. Maybe you're $15 million group practice. 1%'s a lot of money. See what that does in regard to your overhead, et cetera, valuation. I guarantee you'll look at the details a little more once you see what that money looks like.